Good morning and hello. This is Sam Tacchini. I'm an operations trainee with Pacific Northwest Team 2 here on the Cameron Peak and East Thompson Zone fires. I'm here today to give you a little current situation and an update on Saturday's plan here on the fire. I will be starting out with going over the little bit of fire activity we have been seeing and our fire suppression efforts and contingency plans within those areas. And then we'll move into some discussion on our suppression repair operations around the entire fire. So today, weather-wise, we're going to see probably an increase in wind as the weather systems are changing. We will see an increase in our relative humidities, so it won't be as dry, but still dry enough that with those winds, in the areas where we are seeing a little bit of smoke and a little bit of fire activity, there is potential for the visual smokes and for the heat, and maybe a small amount of backing and creeping, depending on the areas. So we will start up in the Buckhorn area, which is our Branch 2 Division Tango, and we'll continue to have people patrolling and monitoring the Buckhorn area in case there's any heat signatures or smokes that pop up, and we have access to them to where we can go in and mop up and secure them. And moving into the Pingree area, the CSU campus, the Rainbow area, there will be the noticeable smoke, and we did have a little bit of fire activity in and around that location. And today's plan is to continue to keep folks in the Rainbow area patrolling and monitoring. And we will also have operational folks, if allowed, to get up into the air with aviation. We will be assessing it by air and potentially using bucket drops on the heat in and around this location if the weather allows. Moving down into the Glen Haven retreat area where we're calling the North Fork Slopover. That smoke yesterday was looking really good. We've been putting buckets on it in the past, and yesterday, even with the dryness and a little bit of wind, there was no movement in there, just a little bit of visible smoke. And I'll back up a little bit and move back in between Glen Haven and Cedar Park. Our hand crew did a really good job in there yesterday, getting that stuff in the Galucci Gulch, Galucci Dip area, getting that all secured and mopped up. And that crew will still be in the general area, but they'll be going into some suppression repair work on some hand lines on the Forest Service lands in there. The other area we had some visible smoke is we're going to move down into Estes Park and up into the Division Whiskey area around the Beaver Marsh area, Beaver Meadow area. And there was a little bit of visible smoke in there. And once again, that's just a monitor and use aviation if need be, if it were to ever start moving around a little bit. Just a few dead and down heavy logs on the ground, smoldering and smoking in that area. And that is well interior down there in Division Whiskey. All right, I think now I'll move into more of the suppression repair talk, and we will bump up into our Branch 1 Division Delta area, and we'll move all the way over to the west of that division and over there by DP 530 on the map. Yesterday we completed some Michigan. There's some structures around this Michigan River area, and we found some structures in there that still had some wrap on them and had water handling equipment around them. So yesterday we went in there and completed removing all that structure wrap off the structures and getting all the equipment out of there, and I believe that operation is complete. We do still have the heavy equipment in there that are moving logs and decking them from when they were cut to make fire line before we got here during putting in line when they were fighting the fire earlier on in the fire. We will then move all the way up to the north end of Delta around the Red Feather area and what they call the Dead Man Road, the 86 Road. And we will have a couple different operations with heavy equipment in there doing the same thing of moving and stacking the logs that were cut during fire suppression. Continuing around Delta, we're going to come out a ways from the fire's edge to the Glacier View, Glacier Meadow area. and we have excavators in there doing suppression repair work on dozer lines. And we know there's still a couple smokes along the Highway 14 area. That's a patrol and monitor. We got some good signage in there now, and just making sure people are staying careful while driving that highway as there's still smoke crossing it. Moving down back into our division Tango, which covers the Buckhorn area and Pingree again. We moved our heavy equipment into the Pingree area, and once they get into position, we'll be starting suppression repair activities in there with our excavators, repairing dozer lines in there. I also believe there will be some hand crews on some hand lines between the Buckhorn area and DP 43, where we found some new hand lines, and they'll start that suppression repair with the crews on the hand lines also. Over here in our Uniform Victor country, that is all patrol and monitor still while we reassess suppression repair plans in both of those divisions. So patrol and monitor, everything's been looking good over there. Maybe one heat signature in the last couple days that they found to do a little bit of work on. Moving into what we call our Branch 3, back up into our division X-ray Yankee country. We have heavy equipment suppression repair going on with excavators on the Forest Service, on the dozer lines. And the Glen Haven area has chipping operations with 2 chippers, continuing to grab that fuel off the roads and get that off the road systems. And we'll move back down into Estes Park now, and the suppression repair going on down there is all around the YMCA. And we got hand crews and 1 excavator, and it sounds like that work is progressing along well. And we will continue that suppression repair work in Division Zulu around the YMCA for probably the next 3 to 5 days. And that's the end of the report.